Turn us up, Galway.
They can't hear us. No one has sound.
Can they hear?
Check,
all
check.
of us,
Can
or
you guys hear
Galway?
me?
Check, check.
And me?
Or me?
Yeah.
Rachel.
Okay. Things seem to have come back up.
Is it working yet?
He's gonna make sure you know that he has sound. All
Now
right.
they can hear.
Yeah.
Yes, now they can hear.
His sound is now present.
But can you guys hear Galway?
Oh God. Going beyond theater of the mind D&D to lip reading theater of the mind. Oh no, lip reading non-theater of the mind D&D.
Pantomime.
Now I kind of want to think about this as a challenge. All right, I'm just going to go back and say, all right, welcome to Helpful Goat Presents Tier Moontree Isle. This is the first episode of this. This roughly follows on from our one-shot, which has become a campaign, of the Amberheart mystery. But the events in this are pretty self-contained and will also be explained as needed in the recap. One thing I wanted to address right at the beginning of this is we here at Helpful Goat have had a lot of internal discussions about what to do in some very trying times overall, and we wanted to use our platform such as it is to promote people who are doing the very, very important work of advancing the cause of racial justice in the United States. To that end, I would request personally that if any of you wonderful people who support us and help us do this thing that we love doing, right for this period, if you would have subscribed, if you would have cheered some bits, if you would have donated, maybe instead devote those financial resources to helping one of the causes that you can find either through using the BLM command, !BLM in chat, or for this period of time, we've repurposed our donate command that will take you to a list of Minneapolis-based charities that are still looking for financial support, supplies, etc. And I encourage you to devote those resources, devote some time, devote some energy, however you can. If it's not money, maybe it's service. If it's not sort of direct service like protesting or helping, it's supporting these organizations in some other way. There's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of work that people can do and can help with. So I hope that you're well, I hope that you're safe, and I hope that you can contribute in some way. And I hope that by us being here, we give you a place where you can recharge a little bit when the world gets to be a lot, and that you can take some energy, take some joy from this, and get back out there and keep advancing this, again, really, really, really important cause. So thank you for your consideration of that. Thank you for any donations that you do. I know that they're tremendously appreciated by the people who need them the most. So with that, I'm going to do, as briefly as I can, the standard boilerplate, and then we'll get into a recap and get right into the action, because you all don't normally come in here to see me lather about corporate recaps. Corporate. Wow, I just made us like 4 orders of magnitude bigger than we are.
You can dream, Galway.
No, but that's not even the dream. We're going to have a video about how that's not even the dream.
Totally fair.
But we are Helpful Goat Gaming. We are a independent game design and game content creation community. We stream here on twitch.tv/helpfulgoat multiple times a week. Our general schedule is on Tuesdays, Goat's Eye View, which is sort of a talk show discussion about various aspects of tabletop RPGs, D&D, gaming generally. On Wednesdays, we play Dom and Dragons, which is D&D with Dominic Monaghan. It's very fun. On Thursdays, several of the people in the video bar, Rachel, Elise, and Sam, the people gesticulating, very, very confusedly gesticulating in the case of Rachel, play Spire, which is a really, really awesome campaign in which days last centuries, and that's not actually a mechanic of it at all, but I enjoy harping on that.
It's just a split party, you know? They just need to go.
It was like a
places.
4-way split, right? Like it was damn impressive. I was like, wow, this is just a bunch of solo campaigns.
We have 2 right now, a 2-way split right now, so
that's
better.
certainly easier to DM. Yeah, so and that's been really amazing. That's been a lot of fun, and honestly touches on a lot of issues that are really, really salient right now. And it's just generally really satisfying because Elisa's an amazing DM, and there's a lot of amazing talent for people playing. And there are also people who have played with us before, like Tyler, who appeared in the Tier Raging Storm one shot. So great people. It's a lot of fun. I've been getting to enjoy chanting for a hyena to eat people every Thursday for a while now. And then on Fridays, we do probably one of our 2 podcast-based shows, either Helpful Goat Presents, which is a lot of shorter campaigns, one-shots, various things like that, or our long-form campaign, which is Goats and Dragons. It's a level 1 to probably level 20 if Andy doesn't kill us first. Campaign in which a lucky band of adventurers tried to save the world and even more difficultly, or even harder, save themselves. So that's sort of what we do. We have, like I said, 2 podcast feeds, Goats and Dragons and Helpful Goat Presents, down below in Twitch. You can get links to those wherever you get your podcasts. We are affiliate here so that you can follow us, you can sub to us, and you can cheer for us. But for right now, if you were going to expend any monetary resources like a paid sub or cheering, I'd ask that you instead maybe devote those resources to a donation to one of the worthy causes, either that we've highlighted or another that you know of. But you could sub for free with Twitch Prime if you have Amazon Prime. All right, I just talked a lot, and I'm pretty sure that I covered everything. So I'm going to turn to the most important part, because I'm the DM for this adventure, which means I build the world, I set the story a little bit, but honestly, the stars, the performers, and the ones who end up deciding everything that we actually do are the players. I'm sure I'll get to fun referential ones at some point, but for right now, I am joined by, going in order, because now I have video, so I can like do a meaningful order to people. Rachel, who also plays in Spire, who is playing Nero, a very, very good half-burned cowman.
Hi. Am I supposed to say more than hi? I wasn't paying attention.
You're good. You're good with just hi. It's fine. Elise, who is playing Minnow Rowe, a human rogue.
Hello.
I also keep forgetting that Minnow's human. Like I was writing like
I forget it too.
Your character things in here of like on the stream overlay, and I was like, Minnow Rowe ? Rogue. Need to go back and look.
I feel like human rogue is like the D&D like baseline like intro character. She's not my first D&D character, but here we are with the human rogue. So let's go.
Good. And as I mentioned, Elise also DMs Spire. Sam, we just sort of are going through the Spire cast in a row. This is purely an accident of Discord video sorting.
Hello.
Sam, who plays Dent, a suit of armor with feelings. And may be a suit of armor with feelings in real life. We're not yet sure.
Also accurate.
Heather, who plays Ressa of the Palisade clan, dwarven cleric. Yes, cleric. I keep trying to almost say dwarven forge because you're a cleric of the forge. And Chris, who has played many characters, and you knew it had to be referential, beginning all the way back in Fates of Rin as Crotch the Sticky, and, as I'd like to also mention, has hit 3 of the 4 major landmasses of Tyr, who is playing Ketch, the most adorable tabaxi fighter you ever will see.
Hi everyone. I'm the tour guide of the land of Tyr.
We'll get you to that 4th continent pretty soon.
What's on our left? What's on our left? Tour guide? On your left, you'll see. Okay, never mind.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Sorry.
see,
Nice.
you say that.
We're walking.
You say that, and that just causes me as the person doing the stream overlay to be like, wait, mirroring?
What is on our left?
What is on the left? Wait, is she taught? What can she see? What's happening? All right. That was good. We are professionals here. We bring high quality entertainment to y'all.
Yes, Monty wants us to know that Boo is also a tabaxi fighter and is probably cuter than Ketch.
Yay, Boo!
Okay, Boo may well actually be the cutest tabaxi fighter. Ketch has the cutest family.
All
Hard to beat 10 kittens.
10 of them.
Since when do we rank families?
Oh, Chris, I think your video froze. I know you asked us to let you.
Thank you.
We, of course, as always, this is Helpful Goat Presents and Helpful Goat presentations generally. We hope you will bear with us through any technical difficulties that occur because Comcast is an evil, evil master, and things seem to go wrong nearly at random. So, any other announcements from anyone? Anything I missed in terms of scheduling? I believe that Spire is potentially going to enter the brave uncharted territory of Thursday. Thursday.
I hope so. I have
I like the pain.
It hasn't
God,
yet.
I hope so.
but we're so close. It's actually Wednesday night now.
I love how close you were, and you're like, yeah, you could do that in the morning. And I think it was like Rachel and I can't remember, was it Ava? We're like, no, we're not letting you get out that easy. Now, yes, as Lena says in the chat, nope, Wednesday forever. So very good, very good. And now to set the stage just a little bit, I'll give you all a brief recap of Amberheart and Tyr generally. Tyr is a land that was long ago riven by a cataclysm. This cataclysm tore lands apart, reshaped continents, and drained the magic from the world. Though it was held back by a group of heroes. Their descendants, and the descendants of all who survived, are now known as the Chosen, and have entered a period of relative peace and even prosperity, albeit some difficulties through the general lack of magic. The world has rebuilt, the world has regrown, and as I said, things are relatively prosperous and peaceful, though there is always danger present, particularly in the blighted lands that surround many areas. Monstrosities walk there. But recently it has seemed strange things have been afoot. A group of guards, protectors, explorers, adventurers, swords for hire, called the Marauders, recently completed a very successful expedition, getting a handsome reward for defending the caravan, and then sent out for their hometown of Amberheart, a small sleepy town in the northwestern country of Forian. However, upon arriving home, they discovered that everyone in the town had disappeared. No trace was seen, no signs of struggle except for large furrows breaking through the stone itself on the southern end of town. They found a pair of figures, one apparently the mayor's husband, the other a stranger who claimed he'd been sent to observe. It turned out that of the two of them, the stranger was being more honest, as the mayor's husband was in fact not the mayor's husband, but a figure named Riven, who said he was a smuggler who had helped bring in some kind of strange cargo, which he suspected was alive, and which he wondered if it had been related to the disappearance of many, though it could not have eaten everyone. They were gone too quickly. The Marauders descended into the cavern beneath Amberheart, discovering massive unrest, cave-ins everywhere, broken paths tunneling through. They fought strange dust elementals, pausing only to occasionally have to drag Dent away from small pools in the cave for reasons which we'll get into in a minute. And then eventually, through winding paths, they arrived at a large central chamber, within which was an altar of some kind. And in front of the altar, a giant monstrosity looking like two beings of earth twisted together, and at their heart, a golden crystalline structure. The Marauders managed to defeat this creature, nearly shattering the crystal in the process, though Nero was able to heal it with the fire that he has been somewhat afraid of throughout his life. Ressa, an accomplished crafter, stared deep into the crystal and was mesmerized by what she saw, the power, the beauty, the possibilities. And a touch of it restored a memory to Dent, an amnesiac warforged, as he remembered waking up, a thing that within the span of life that he can remember, he has never done, for he does not truly sleep. The group placed the crystal on the altar where others like it were assembled, and then began to hear noise from somewhere above them. On the way back, they discovered that Riven, their prisoner, had escaped at some point during the fight. But, more importantly, on the surface, their families awaited them. As a mass of people, the entire population of the town of Amberheart was standing, dazed and confused, in the square, blinking at the light, clutching each other, and then as the Marauders emerged, hugging them, cheering, celebrating them. All of them discussed that they had been in a town somewhere else. It's different, and no one there could see them or hear them, but they could sort of vaguely see them as if through a mist. It was not at all a pleasant experience. And then, the town saved, the Marauders now heroes. Dent tugged gently at Nero's sleeve and pointed at the fishing pond to the west of town. And then they headed that way. And so it's the next day, generally. And you can see here in Amberheart, I have taken the liberty of placing Dent over by the fishing pond. I imagine that he has basically not been moving. I imagine that he also, like, since you don't truly sleep, you kind of go into powered down mode. Even then, you're still sort of fishing, so your friends / grateful townspeople have sort of erected a lean-to over you to make sure you don't get rained on. Everyone in town is very confused by the fact that this hulking man in this suit of armor has such a passion for fishing, but you saved them, so they're okay with it. And so maybe we'll come back to you, but what would each of you have been doing sort of as you come to this next day, having rescued the town? Maybe we'll start with Minnow.
Sure. Minnow, I think, would spend a lot of time with her sister, who's very important to her. She's much younger. And her spouse, Arden, who obviously also very important to her. And yeah, I think just kind of like be very focused. I think we said that Minnow's parents and sister live like here-ish on the map. Is that right?
Your house is up here, I know.
Yes.
And then I think that they were down more at that corner. Yeah.
I think they were down here. Okay. Yeah. And I think just be spending time kind of like hearing their stories about where they were, especially her sister, and just kind of like trying to gauge how okay her little sister really is with what happened. I think would be her focus.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say you don't really need to roll a check. She's your sister. You've known her for her entire life. She's shaken, certainly, but she seems very relieved, and she doesn't seem to sort of like be super stressed or upset. It's more like, what the hell was that, than anything else.
Okay.
And your parents are pretty similar, and it seems like one thing you do glean is that they were able to have a sense of each other. Like, whatever they were viewing, they could see people moving. It was sort of like seeing figures moving through fog, or everything was a little grayed out. The noises were very muffled, but they had a sense of a scene, a city moving in front of them, or a town. But they also had a sense of each other, sort of wherever this was, suspended however this was. So that you also think probably helped a little bit. Like, your sister didn't feel alone, just...
Yeah.
What the hell is this? Why are we all here? What's going on? And as they had said to you even that night in the square, no one really knew anything. There were some crashing noises, and then they were gone. So no real insight of, oh, we saw this or anything. And the other thing is, they had no sense of how long it had been. They'd been gone, by your estimate, probably 2 days. And they didn't really have a sense of time, but like they're not really sure. It felt longer to them, but then they were also suspended, just constantly watching vague shapes moving, so who the hell knows how long it was. But at one point, sort of as, you know, you're finishing up a sort of brunch and a conversation, Arden's going to sort of nudge you with their elbow and give you a sign, like a quick signal that you haven't seen them use since you actually used to sort of work much more actively as criminals, of the like, we need to take a moment. And they'll sort of be like, I'm gonna take a walk up and check on something back at the house, and just sort of head out.
Okay, I'll kind of like make sure Lily's fine and make my excuses and follow.
Yeah, so you're gonna come back, and they're kind of they're seated at the table that's in your front room, yes, and they'll sort of reach up and cup and caress your face, like as they did once you were reunited in Square, and they go, I have. It didn't seem important once, you know, the town got disappeared, but shortly before that, the night before, someone broke in here.
And took, I saw what they took.
Yes, and they...
Do you know who it was?
No. And they were good. They were better than anyone.
Have to be.
They were better than anyone we'd ever run with, and they knew what they were getting.
But why? I mean, if not someone we ran with, then why would anyone care?
I don't know. When I woke and heard them, I sort of started and turned, and they just smiled. I tried to grab them. I tried to corner. Yes, I tried to grab them. I tried to corner them. They just float around me like it didn't matter. I've never seen anyone move like that.
Well, thank God you're okay. I mean, if they were that dangerous and scary, like, I'm just sorry I wasn't here to help.
No, I'm glad you weren't, because before they left, they said, we'll be seeing Minnow soon.
Okay, that's good. That's great.
Has anything been happening while you've been out? The Marauders, there's this new fellow with the large one with the suit of armor. Is something strange happening?
I wouldn't say he's harmless in the sense that like he can do great harm, but he's harmless and like he doesn't know anything or have any interest in that. What? Okay. No, I guess to Galway, has Minnow noticed anything weird or upsetting?
No. Your last couple of missions honestly have been going progressively smoother. I think we'd sort of discussed that we'd sort of decided roughly that you'd picked up, met and joined up with Dent, not necessarily just before the last mission, but maybe the one before that. So he's been traveling with you for probably a couple months now, but had never been back to Amberheart with you all before this trip. But outside of that, things had been going pretty well. You're kind of finding your groove. You had a really successful last mission. There haven't been any particularly creepy occurrences or any like strong foes you've run across.
The only thing that comes to mind, and I'm in character to Arden, is that, well, the person we did meet two people yesterday. Was it really just yesterday? We did meet two people. We met a smuggler, Riven. I don't know if you know, but they seemed, I mean, like they were able, he, right? It was a
he.
guy. Yeah. He was able to disguise himself. He disguised himself as Garrig, but we figured out it wasn't Garrig, and it was someone who helped smuggle this thing into the catacombs. And then we met Dellen, who's probably still
in town. Yeah. He's been actually down in the catacombs. He talked to the mayor yesterday, and he's been doing research down there. That's where you'd know he'd be.
Okay. And he's from The deep hold is. Do you know anything about deep hold? Do I know anything about deep hold? I think we determined.
You didn't know anything about deep hold, and Arden's also like, no, I've never heard of such a thing, such a group. I remember Dellen was sort of speaking with you all a little bit last night. He seemed nice enough, but no, Minnow, be careful. Whoever this person was, they had no interest in hurting me. And that lack of interest was the only thing that kept them from hurting me.
Well, if they come back, they're going to have to deal with both of us.
Yes, they said they'd be seeing you soon, so I don't know. But with that, Arden will suggest maybe going back over and seeing family, but just they wanted to get to have that conversation.
I did want to go also in the maybe in the afternoon after lunch or whatever to just fish with Dent, because I promised that I would.
We're probably all gonna end up over at Dent before too long. But Ketch, what have you been up to?
Ketch has been painstakingly listening to each and every kitten's recollection of what had happened in the previous couple of days. And Pickles by far had the best story, quickly followed up by Ham, who swore it was some sort of giant troll that came and stole them away. But other than that, I've just been helping around Mom and Dad's shop, trying to get everything back in order.
And they sort of run a general store?
It's called it's a bookstore. So
Right.
we bind books and scrolls, and I do a lot of transcription and calligraphy.
Yeah, very good. It feels kind of nice to help them get the shop set back up, doing a little bit of work on a couple of orders in. It's a nice return and a nice sort of coming down from the anxiety of the day before, where you were racing through these caverns trying to figure out what the hell was going on, where your family was. And that's it's been nice. Ressa, you had liberated one of the sort of broken pieces of this crystal when you came back up, and you're presumably back with your family in their workshops. And is there anything in particular you'd be doing?
Absolutely. I would be, since I had all of the ideas and the visions about creations I could make, I would be practicing, I'd be drawing, I'd be using my artisan's blessing to make new jewelry objects, and just trying to put into physicality some of the things that I had seen.
So yeah, you find that as amazing as these designs were, as sort of stunning and something that you'd never really thought of before as they were, it's very easy for you to go through the sketching and the design process. It flows more naturally than it ever has for you before.
Fabulous.
But now sort of, I'm also kind of using jumping characters to advance time a little bit as we're going. As you sort of turn and you take the smallest piece of it that you'd had, and you go to maybe try to work it a little bit, you find it is maddeningly difficult. One moment as you heat it, it almost seems like it's melting, or it's damaging its structure, and then the next moment it becomes insanely brittle, and you're worried that you're about to snap it. And then as you sort of are like, okay, so I need to mold instead. And as you do that, it becomes resistant beyond metals that you've worked with. So you're really flummoxed by this, and you're getting worried that trying to actually, as the siren goes by, they somehow manage to catch all the monologues. Come on, thank you. As you're working with this, you're beginning to be afraid that even practicing like this, a thing you would normally do, you take sort of the scraps and the ends, you risk just destroying this material, and it's unlike anything you've worked with. and you've probably like grabbed some extra books on metalworking, crystal working, jewelry, etc. And you're sort of been poring over those now, trying to look for any type of hint.
Is it almost like it's resisting changing? Like it doesn't want to be changed, molded, it wants to stay as is?
No, because almost sometimes when you do some things to it, it changes very rapidly. Like the first time you had it, you were thinking, oh, okay, it's a crystal, so apparently whatever is requiring the sirens is very close to me because they're all slowing down right as they get to me. The first time you started to manipulate it, you were like, oh, okay, I probably need to heat this a lot. It's crystalline. I'm going to need to work sort of very firmly with it. And it like almost entirely changed form instantly. You're like, oh, okay, that's making it unusable. Not good, not good, not good. So then you were sort of thinking maybe you'd just mold it more. And then it became brittle. And then you're like, oh, maybe I need to sort of bend and shape it that way because it's become really brittle. And then it just wouldn't move. And it seems to flip through those almost at random. It's really frustrating because you have these designs which, like, as you've sort of been spitting them out almost over some of the course of the night and through the morning and stuff, your family is coming by and they're sort of oohing and ahhing at these because they're so beautiful and breathtaking. And they're just getting sort of a steady stream of Ressa profanity from the forge area, because this is just frustrating the hell out.
And they've never seen anything like it either?
No. It appears that whatever the version of this that you have, these sort of splinters that had come off, it doesn't have quite the same effect, and you can feel that. Like, it doesn't enrapture you the same way, though it's still quite beautiful. But they certainly don't get that sense of rapture, but they can see it almost, even if they don't directly experience it. And
okay, and certainly I told them about what I had experienced.
Yeah, and they thought that was absolutely amazing. I also should actually put you as sort of where you are. You're over there. Meshes with the Ketch clan. I'm not sure I'd ever figured out where. I'm not sure we decided where you lived, Ressa.
No, we hadn't.
I'm putting you over here. That's the wrong one. And Nero, what are you up to?
Mine's not going to be that long or exciting. Remind me. Sorry, Sam. Remind me again where the Moongaze Woods Monastery is. Like, how far outside of town is it?
It's about a day's journey north.
I feel like Nero would have initially stuck around town to see whatever he could do to help, offer, whatever, just talking with people, trying to make them feel more comfortable and find out a little bit what happened. And then he would have walked to, or I guess traveled some way. He didn't have to walk, I guess. I don't know.
You could get a horse.
Maybe he likes walking.
He's very fast at it.
Yeah. To the monastery and just, reconnected, trained, asked if they'd seen anything strange, and then worked to be back by whenever it is that you're starting.
Yeah, so you would have probably said to everyone then that, like, you felt the need to sort of update your teachers and everything of what you discovered and think more deeply about some of the things that had happened and make sure everything was okay there, because of course no one in the town has any idea of what the hell had happened at the monastery. And yeah, you get up to the monastery near the end then of that first day, and you find everything in good order. It seems like whatever had happened in town didn't affect them. Your old masters are pleased to speak with you and to think about some of the things you discovered. One teacher that you were fond of in particular is sort of very proud that you used your flames to heal something, and it's like, yes, this is good progress. Good. Yes. Center yourself. Take the time you need. And it seems to me that the next steps of your journey lie with your friends. So yeah, you can maybe excise you from the next couple of days. You'll be there and then you'll be coming back. And Dent. You're Dent. What are you doing?
So Dent has been basically splitting his time evenly between fishing, but also crafting. He has decided after, these last couple successful ventures with his comrades in the Marauders that he wanted to do something nice for them. And so when he hasn't been fishing, he's been doing two things. One, he, instead of just having a regular old pinky, he can now kind of like cock his pinky over and remove it and basically kind of stretch it out, like telescope it out like a lightsaber toy.
Is this Spire?
I more am enjoying Rachel's. Oh no!
Body modification.
I just
anyway,
heard.
I love it though.
my
I love
pinky
this.
And then expand it, and it's fine. Keep going.
Yeah. Yes. So he can twist it and extend his pinky into his own portable fishing pole.
Excellent.
But that aside, because his 4 friends do not have detachable pinkies, he has been going into the woods right across from the lake and has been whittling, well, not really whittling, but I guess like just wood crafting some 4 very elegant, nice brand spanking new fishing poles for his friends. Each of them are the colors or have like a little painted name with the respective colors listed as your tokens. And he is very excited to let you all get to spend a day with him fishing. And he's excited to reveal these. But
Can Nero have helped with that? Because Nero has expertise in wood carving tools, and that's like his whole fucking jam. So, I mean, not help you make the things, but helps you with like learning how to do wood carving and shit.
Yeah, sure. Like part of maybe I could have like gone to and been like, hey, so I have this project, but it's super secretive.
Nice. Yeah. So that's absolutely a thing you can do. And we'll, having established some of what's been going on, I think we'll spend time a little bit forward. Various members of the Marauders will come and sit and fish with you, Dent. I suspect Aressa, you chat with Dent sometimes as you're sitting there fishing about, why won't this work? Why won't it work? It should have. And then normally you're sitting there like flipping through a book while fishing. Dent, at this point, you've also spent so much time with this that, you've caught plenty of fish. I suspect you've moved into catch or release. The mayor has requested that you perhaps move into catch and release because she kind of wants there to still be fish in there. It's been very peaceful. The weather's been very nice. Some of the townspeople, because when they saw you sitting out there, were like, "Oh, you must be hot in that armor," and it sort of, like I said, popped a little sort of tent lean-to so that you're shaded. They think it's a little weird, but hey, you saved their lives. Probably, they're not really sure. You saved them from whatever the hell that was, so they're good with just letting you do whatever it is you want to do. People will visit. At one point, I would think that Ketch and all 10 kittens come down to the lake. At which point, this is probably about when the mayor begins to start having the discussion about catch and release. Not catch and release, catch and release.
Release is my new buddy.
Oh dear.
It's close enough to my name too, Elise, Release, that I can be your buddy.
Yeah.
I'm picturing all of the kittens like jumping in the shallows to catch fish.
Yes.
Not necessarily with the rod.
Except for Tuck and Dot, they're like taking turns like dunking each other, but then the one that gets dunked complains, and then as soon as the one that did the dunking turns around, the one that got dunked does more dunking. Yeah.
Sounds right.
I was gonna say, I like how you've encapsulated the like simultaneously the toddler and kitten experience in these beings. As I watch our own kitten just facing his own tail.
I just want to say that when Dent went ahead and revealed these 4 fishing rods to you guys, he was like very proud of them, and but like humble proud, like let's see, I guess he would have said something like well, I spent a lot of time on all of these, but if it is too big or too small, it shouldn't be a problem. Just let me know.
Aw. Minnow would definitely like gush over hers, because she'd be like, Dent, my mother is a woodworker and these are top-notch quality. I've grown up around woodworking all my life, and whoever your teacher was very good, and you were an excellent pupil.
Well, I have Nero to thank for that, so thanks, Nero.
It's beautiful, Dent.
Welcome.
It's beautiful, Dent, and you know how much I like beautiful things. Thank you so much.
Catch will take his and he'll look at it, and then he'll look at his claws, and then he'll look at the fishing pole. This is pretty darn awesome. Thanks, kid.
At least once, if I'm there with the Catch and the kittens, can I use the fishing pole as like a cat toy with the the kitten?
Hell yes.
I'm also picturing them like as you sort of progressively increase the height of it, like beginning to stack on each other in an attempt to get after it. But yeah,
Barrel of monkeys.
Yeah, so a few days sort of pass this way relatively peacefully. Nero, you return feeling refreshed, feeling sort of focused on figuring out what this next chapter looks like. And then Delin, who you all have seen around town, he's remained in town. He's generally been down in the catacombs. Sometimes he'll come over and talk to one or more of you. You see him sort of come over like, yes, hello, Nero, do you know where the rest of your friends are? I have something that I think I need to talk to all of you about.
Well, I know that one is probably fishing. That's a good place to start.
Yes. Yes, we could easily start there. Do you have any idea where the others might be?
No. Maybe
I love
their
Nero.
homes?
Yeah, Minnow would definitely have invited Nero and any of you, but especially Nero since you don't live there, and Dent also, although I don't know how much we think Dent prefers to be like indoors versus by his fishing pond, but regardless, Minnow would have invited you to come over and have lunch and things often.
I think Ted would have gone.
Yeah, so the sort of move around, and yeah, people generally are at their homes. You hear the sort of hammering of metals as you get near Ressa's home, and you'll all, oopsie, I grabbed the name, not actually Catch. You'll all end up by the lake with a still fishing Dent. As Delin sort of like, yes, thank you all. I wanted to thank you again for believing me, and he'll sort of point at you, Dan, for not shaking me. That did not look pleasant. And I had promised you that I would share any information that I had come across. And I was planning to do that as soon as I reported that information to the group that I work for, Deephold. And
can you tell us a little bit about Deephold, actually? I know we're about to get into something, but I'm curious about Deephold.
We are a group of people who... Some disquieting things have been happening here and elsewhere recently. They often seem to be more magical in nature than is usual. And though not all of us have magical abilities ourselves, we are all at least somewhat familiar with magic, or the study of it, or researching it, and we decided to do what we could in order to help people generally, or try to discern what it is that is happening. And it's very appropriate that you might ask what Deephold is, because you see, like I said, I was going to talk to you all because I was very grateful, and you all seem very decent folk once I'd reported. But the thing is, I can't seem to get in touch with anyone at Deephold. With Deephold, this has never happened before.
How do you usually communicate?
He's like, and he'll, from sort of a pouch in a pocket of his robe, he'll pull out a small, about the sort of palm-sized stone. It's like, as I mentioned, most of us have at least some experience with magic or magical items, etc., and this is one of those. It allows me to communicate with them over great distances. We only have a couple of them, but we use them for people who are going out on missions. Especially ones where there might be some danger or need to report in quickly. And it was working up through the time that I arrived here, but with everything that was going on and the ability to then research, I hadn't really tried to report back. And then yesterday, when I tried, nothing.
Do you know, is it the magic on the stone, or is it that nobody's answering, right? Does that make sense? Is it the spell that has malfunctioned, or is just no one on the other side?
Yes, no, that's a very astute question. It absolutely makes sense. No, the stones connect. It's just no one answers.
So what other missions were going on that you were aware of when this was happening?
None that I know of. More standard people listening out, trying to see if there were any rumors of anything happening, things like that. But nothing of the scope of what I was doing here. I do not know what could have happened, but I am worried because now entire towns of people disappear, and that seems, not good.
Well, this can't be good.
Wah, wah.
I think you're partially doing this because now you can just watch me wince every time one of these happens. It's like,
What were you hoping we would do? Do you want us to escort you back to wherever your Deephold headquarters are, or?
Yes, more or less. I would like you to escort me to Tormenryle, which is the city a couple of days outside that you would actually come from, coming back to Deephold, or to Amberheart, to Tormenryle, where there should be someone there for me to contact and see if I can find any leads. And if I cannot find anything there, on to Moontree Isle, which you all would know. Roll 20. I wish you'd just sort of move me over when I move the players, because I probably want to see what they're seeing. You are here in Amberheart, and Tormenryle is a couple days' journey to the east, and technically in the Amekian Kingdom. But this is a completely stable border. There's free travel between it, etc. And you know that Moontree Isle is a name for the island in the massive Moonwatcher Lake, which you all would know isn't particularly inhabited or anything. There is, excitingly for Dent, a small fishing village there. That's most of the actual settlement there. And that's about it.
What's the name of the lake? Moon what?
Moonwatcher Lake.
Thanks.
Same as the Moonwatcher Forest. He's like, there's a small outpost of the Deephold there, and if something's wrong there, then yes, it would be onto the headquarters themselves, but honestly, if something is wrong at Moontree Isle, I am not sure that I will want to go on to headquarters, because it means that something very, very bad indeed has happened.
It was in my backstory that before Nero had found me, that I was, kind of secluded by Moonwatcher Lake. Like, that's where I was. I guess it wouldn't stand to reason that I would have any awareness as to what might be going on in this area.
You all had been sort of right back through that area relatively recently. Like, it was only at this point, about a week and a half ago, you were in the the city of Tormenryle, but you've spent a lot of time on the banks of the lake. It is pretty calm weather. It's a peaceful area. Like, that's why it was pretty easy for you to just sort of be there. It's parts of it are relatively secluded, parts of it are a little busier. It's beautiful, but you can't think of anything. You've never been to the island proper, partially because of the difficulties of you and boats, especially alone, would have been a bit tricky, and you didn't want to just wade through a lake. But you don't know of anything in particular.
So, what exactly do you want from us?
Of course, Nero. I would like it very much if you would escort me to Tormenryle. Continue to escort me around Tormenryle as I complete some inquiries. And then, if I am not able to discover any more information, proceed with me on to Moontree Isle, to the village there, and again, conduct more inquiries. Hopefully there I will discover that, despite what I have felt, it is in fact something wrong with the stone, or I don't know, they just don't like me. I'm open to that. I'm worried that I cannot hear anyone.
I can't imagine that that's the case. You seem like a perfectly likable guy.
I mean,
guys,
people are allowed to change their minds.
I'm 100% in support of going, because there is a really nice fishing village up that way, and I don't know about you guys, but now that we have 5 total fishing poles, could probably go for some nice new snazzy lures and stuff like that. Be really nice. Just saying.
Well, I think, this is what we do, right? The Marauders back at it.
We fight off kobolds, we save the cabbage mongers, and are we getting paid for this?
Oh, yes. I can offer you 250 gold, and also there's a friend of mine, it has seemed to me, from some of the conversations that I've had with each of you, there's a friend of mine who should be in the outpost on Moontree Isle, who is a particular expert in crafting magical items and working with magical materials. He might have more perspective on what we found. He might have more perspective on your armor or on working with these materials. So I thought that meeting him might be useful for you as well. And it has seemed to me that you all care very deeply about your home. While I have made my observations here, I certainly think the perspectives of the other members of my group would be invaluable in determining what the hell it was that happened here.
Speaking of that, caring very much for our home, before we go, based on what you've observed and studied, do you have any reason to believe that this would happen again? Or, I mean, I'm kind of hesitant to leave everybody right after this happened.
I think we just lost Craig.
Yes, Craig has died a grisly death.
Bye, Craig.
As Craig do.
That means it's not recording.
Yeah.
That
Just
sounded like a bye Felicia, but it was bye Craig.
It was meant to be in the same tone.
Craig is like that sibling that you reluctantly bring with you everywhere because you have
Now
to.
recording.
Sorry, everyone on stream, for that particular piece of audio. All right. Now Craig appears to be live again.
Are we
Do you
going to
want me
get two Craig links now?
Yes.
Should I repeat my minnow question?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and make sure, because I don't know when Craig died a horrible death.
Yeah. Okay. So, speaking of caring very much about our families here and our town, do you have any reason to think that this would repeat itself? That if we leave, we'll come back and our families will be gone again?
No and yes. What? Undisturbed, no. The material that you found down there, the altar, appears to be part of some kind of system, magical system that runs through the ground itself here. I don't know if you all have ever noticed as you've traveled, there's a sort of latent magic in the soil here. There's just something about the place. Whatever it was that happened because that system was disturbed. In the 5 days that I have spent just watching, taking measurements as I can, interacting with it, the system itself appears perfectly stable. Now, if someone were to do something like, say, introduce an earth elemental that ate that crystalline structure, it would do things again. Probably not good things. They weren't good the first time. But that's a thing that can be solved with guards. I have made that recommendation to your mayor, who seems very competent, that the entrances to the catacombs be much more sealed, much more guarded, watched pretty much continuously, until such time as I could obtain some items that might help in sealing it, not more permanently, but just more securely.
Well, all right. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yes.
And yeah, I think I would like to, and I would definitely like to meet your person who knows about materials.
Let's go.
Just out of curiosity, how does what he is offering compare to our normal rates?
actually a little bit above even maybe, and he's kind of doing that. Well, let me put it this way. If what is going to be involved in this is escorting this dude across a very well-traveled level road for 2 days to Tormenryle, and then a little bit around Tormenryle while he asks some questions, insanely high compared to what you would normally charge. If then he needs to be in Tormenryle for a while and then goes over to Moontree Isle and has to be there a little bit longer, still on the good end of something, especially and that's just thinking about the coin, not thinking about like any expertise or information that you might get. If there is some kind of ungodly abomination on Moontree Isle, no, there's not.
Wait, what?
Then that's a little harder to balance.
Didn't you say that abominations were your favorite type of creature in Goat's Eye View this week?
Aberrations.
Ah, okay.
Either way, we're probably screwed.
I haven't killed anyone
Aberration.
yet, but I love aberrations.
Well, when do you want to leave?
Well, it's already about midday today, and it would seem wisest to travel with a full day's ability to move along the road. But I have a few more notes that I need to take in last observations. So tomorrow, early in the morning, would that be agreeable to everyone?
That would work.
Okay.
Yeah, I suppose that'll work.
I thank you so much. I appreciate this, and truly I will be very glad if I am able to give you your money and introduce you to my friends and have had it all be nothing.
Would you like a fishing rod?
Sure. That would be lovely.
I run back to my tent and grab like the first one I made that didn't come out so nicely, but still is a totally functional fishing rod.
Thank you for this. Yes, perhaps before I take my last set of notes, I will spend a little time relaxing, and he sort of blinks his eyes, being above ground.
Minnow would go and talk to Arden about this, but also is there anything we could do like in the last 5 days? I think she would be sniffing down old leads, trying to see if anybody like her criminal contact would have any kind of information about this figure that broke into their house. I don't know what you want to do about that. Just like tell me what she found out or have me roll investigation. But I think she would spend some time during the 5 days also kind of trying to figure out what happened, as well as grilling Lily. Like, did you take something from my jewelry box? Tell me honestly.
So yeah, I will say that the grilling of Lily is just like, no, there's something good in there. Should I have? Should I have?
Nope.
And at this point, she's now like bobbing and weaving, trying to get around you to get to the jewelry box.
I let her because now there's nothing in there I'm worried about. But I didn't really think it was her at this point anyway, given Arden's story. So I would, hit up the criminal contact and see if anybody saw anything or if anyone else has reported anything stolen, especially kind of mementos of that particular era.
Yeah. Give me an investigation check and then a persuasion check. $10 for investigation.
10.
Okay.
Persuasion 11.
But it wasn't the fumble.
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got a fair number of contacts, and you're pretty able to work just sort of your leads, and also everyone in the town is really well disposed to you right now, and like sort of the legitimate governance of the town is really well disposed to you now, and also the perhaps slightly shadier elements in the town are just very impressed by you. So it's not too hard to get what information you can. The only thing, and it's sort of like your last contact, it's a much older, long retired, sort of burglary expert you're talking to. And he's like, no, I don't know anything like that in town. I've heard rumors that the Shadow Hand is beginning to get a bit restless. And this is a name that you know very well. They're an organized crime syndicate. They have outposts lots of places, not in Amberheart. It's a little too small. They certainly have at least one in Tormenryle. And they're very subtle. Like, you know they're there, but you don't know necessarily where they are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
And you've had no dealings with them in the past. So this seems relevant, but you also don't know why they would have specifically been targeting you.
Okay. All right, cool.
Have you told the group this?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Minnow does not talk about her criminal past.
And have you told us about the break-in?
Nope. I have kept that one close. Literally the only thing they took right over the table was like this specific thing that, so like had it been something more than that, I think she would have, but this seems very targeted at specifically that, and so she's keeping it cards close to the chest on that one.
And then kind of as a looping back in a similar way to what Elise just did, because we kind of moved through for the story beat, is there anything else that over the sort of 5 days you all would have been like to have been doing, practicing, trying to build, trying to make, etc.?
I just would have been practicing, all the jewelry / armor making.
Yeah. Again, you feel very capable with it. You feel very inspired. You feel it's interesting because an order came into your family's forge for like literally a piece of armor, and you'd just sort of been deep in this jewelry making and all of these sort of ornaments. And when you go to actually work on this fairly standard like pauldron, you find the inspiration carries over. It hadn't even occurred to you. The form is more graceful. You're able to sort of think about, but this will help it deflect this way. So everything's going really well unless you actually try to work with the damn substance itself. But yeah, that all goes well.
I think the last night before we venture out, Dent would love to have everyone over for a dinner. He is absolutely delighted to get to cook for people, and he bakes a nice, several platters of like baked salmon and whatever happens to be in the lake at the time. Probably lots of salmon.
Are salmon lake fish?
Salmon are not lake fish.
They're not lake fish.
I was gonna say those are river fish.
Trout.
And saltwater
there's
fish.
no river here.
Trout. Carp.
Bass.
Bass.
I grew up fishing, so sorry.
We'll absolutely go with bass. All right. Cool.
So I have to ask a question. Dent has never consumed food, nor does he have the ability to taste. How does the cooking go, in your mind?
I think he's a pretty good cook.
I do also feel
like he wouldn't. But he wouldn't know.
Said that earlier. I had said too that I would help because I control fire, so I feel like I would do my best to like actively help with understanding cooking and
and I'm totally fine if we want Dent to be a good cook. Like, this wasn't me sort of like challenging Sam. I was just like, which way do you want to play this? Because I'm good with either. I just want to know. You have a wonderful sort of fish bake down by the lake.
Lena did say Dent is a fucking cooking savant who doesn't need to taste to cook delicious food, so it's canon now.
He's a genius robot chef. Okay. Dellen will come by at one point, catch his family, appear to have smelled the fish from the other side of town, because like at some point you suddenly start hearing that sound of like cats running, just sort of emerging from the square. The mayor stops by briefly. Minnow, your family will drop by. It's sort of like a giant picnic. People drop in and out, but it's a good time. Ressa, your family's there as well. But yeah, so it's all very nice. I
very much like the imagery in my head right now of Dent just getting tackled by Ketch's relatives.
Yes, which almost goes into the fire at one point.
Yes, and basically how it is you see Ketch running behind, just like with this look of, oh, this is going to be, utterly amazing, and I want to see it, but I don't want to see it.
And I feel like you just hear tong, 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 as the kittens just slam into Dent one after the other.
Looking between two paws, you know.
Yep.
Cute.
But yeah, very good. You all pass an enjoyable, peaceful evening in Amberheart, and while you're very glad to have gotten to see your families, you're very glad to have recovered them. It's also nice. You all are, sort of at a phase of life where people in Amberheart tend to go out and adventure. It's just sort of a known quirk of the town, and you're still very much in that part of your lives. So it's also kind of nice to get back out on the road. And I would say that before we hit the road, let's go ahead and take a quick break here. Stretch your legs, grab a drink, grab a snack, run to the bathroom if we need to. We will be back in just a few minutes, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll be back in just a few.
Meow.
I was like, wait, did someone just meow? Welcome back to Helpful Goat Presents Tier Moontree Isle. In the first half, we sort of caught up in what the Marauders had been doing, investigated a little bit more about the mystery around the town of Amberheart, and got some quality fishing time in. And now you all are setting out from Amberheart, first to Tormenrail, then potentially on to Moontree Isle, escorting Delin, a member of a group called Deephold, who has not been able to get in touch with his group and is extremely concerned about that fact. This is not normal. And yeah, you set out. It's a nice morning. The weather is quite peaceful at the moment. It's just sort of ideal overall.
Have we taken our cart?
You can have. That will require you to sort of maintain the horses that pull the cart, which could be a touch more difficult with going to the island, but if you would like to, that is a possibility.
I'm not sure we need to. I was just wondering what others thought.
Is carry shit if I need to, so.
Are we, otherwise would we be going by foot or like riding like rented horses that we would just leave in Monroe?
Yeah, sorry, the map gets a little blurry at this level of zoom. You certainly could have horses. You also could walk. It's not a difficult road or anything. The sort of 2-day travel time is generally with walking and moving at a pretty good pace, but not like it's a hard walk or anything. It's forested almost the entire way. Horses, especially if you pushed it, it might even be as short as a day. Sort of up to you. Would incur a little additional expense.
I feel like we got some money from our last gig, so why don't we, put a little bit towards this one, since we know we're going to be getting more out of it than our regular, adventure.
Yeah, fine with me.
Yeah, I think Delin would want to get there quickly.
He certainly is in favor of that. He also just didn't have a horse with him or anything, so...
Maybe Delin wants to finance these horses for us?
He would, but he also kind of can't, because honestly, he's kind of paying you in his operating budget. Like, the coin that they send him out with to cover expenses, he's basically just giving to you guys instead.
I mean, considering we, brought our town out of the ether that they were, just hanging out in, I would think the mayor, out of favor to the Marauders who kicked ass and did not bother taking names, that the mayor would just loan us the horses.
You can give me a persuasion check to try to convince her of that fact.
Okay.
Shows how much that fishing rod means. Can't even get a horse.
The mayor? You didn't give the mayor a fishing rod.
No, I meant Delin.
He's literally giving you all of his coin. It's like I would, but money. Yeah, Kitch. So you're actually able to sort of negotiate with the mayor a little bit, and you can get some horses. Though it's kind of tricky because there are 6 of you, and so the mayor, she's willing to sort of intervene, get those over to you, but in return, she's also asked that you perhaps deliver a note to a friend of hers in Tormenrail, if you'd be willing.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So yeah, you'll have some horses provided for you. They're not the greatest. They're not really distance traveling horses. They're honestly more just sort of work horses. But they would help you go a bit faster.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And I'm not furiously copying horse tokens over or anything. It's fine. Oh god, they're all stacked on top of each other. Oh, it's horrifying.
Why do we need horse tokens? Does that mean we're going to have a battle while we're riding?
And maybe they're gonna run away or die.
Does everyone else just see the world map?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
That's all you're seeing.
Gotcha.
I just like to keep track of, what's where and what are on what maps.
What he can kill.
I am not Andy. I do not murder, all mounts.
Nero has already named his horse Petunia. So you can't kill Petunia.
Very nice.
Okay, that feels like that's a name drawn from Griffin McElroy's Nuzlocke. And you know how that turned out.
Maybe that's why it came to my mind so quickly.
I don't think he has one named Petunia in that, does he? But in honor of Griffin McElroy's YouTube series, I will name my horse Randy.
I wasn't sure if you were going to go with Randy or Final Pam.
Final Pam is wonderful, but Randy is my horse.
Fair. So yeah, you're making good progress. You're moving along the road east. You've traveled this road many, many times. And probably about midday then. I took you to the wrong map. It's cool. It's cool. It's fine. I'm competent.
You are competent, Galway.
Oh god, I'm gonna get into this talking down to myself the way you yell at Rachel about no saying I'm sorry.
I'm naming my horse Geralt.
Nice. Holy fuck, those horses! They're so big!
Horses are large creatures, which means they're a 10 by 10 square. Yeah, they're just occupying the road. You see why I was fumbling a little bit to get these all copied over? It's oh crap. They're just the road. Yeah, so you've been riding along, and it's about midday, maybe even into afternoon. But if you were on foot or taking, you can also rearrange your travel order in any way you want. I was just trying to move the tokens over. If you were taking a full just walking route, or if you'd had a heavily laden cart before, you would already be coming to the end of your first day of travel at this distance, so you're making very good time. And you pass sort of a broken down old building that's along the side of the road, and you see a little bit of light in it, which is weird. It's just sort of an abandoned building.
Should we check that out?
Sure.
No.
Why?
I mean, because there's
Curiosity.
light in it. I'm curious, I guess.
I'm sorry. Did you just say curiosity?
Yep.
Wow.
Listen, cat. You're not a cat. You're a tabaxi.
Still, fairly certain I've lost a life recently.
And Minnow, you actually know this place, and it kind of catches your eye. One, because you're generally on the lookout for things. This is a place that's often used as a drop for criminal groups in the area, or as sort of a meeting place.
I'm definitely. I just want to check it out. I'm just curious. I'm gonna go quietly though, and I will stealth towards the building.
Sure thing.
Dent is coming too.
Yeah, Nero would hop off his horse and
Can
follow
you guys
behind.
give me like 30 feet? Just hang 30 feet back, because Dent is a suit of armor.
I am a
I'm
stealthy
not.
suit of armor.
Are you?
Yeah, I have...
I feel like I've heard that from people in chainmail recently in my other D&D groups. And then we failed.
I do have like 3 different modes, and one of the modes is like super stealth mode.
Okay. That's acceptable. I would just, in character, I would like to go quietly. This building, and this is way back, so that hopefully none of this conversation is floating towards the
You're
thing.
not shouting at each other or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
This building is something I'm familiar with as, well, I know that sometimes criminals use it, so I think we should just be careful. It seems like there's a possibility it's being used for something criminal. So, just FYI.
Shall I remain here with the horses?
That'd be great.
Good,
Dell
because
and I
you just
got
said
you.
the word criminals, and I'll stay here.
All right, let's go.
Dent is unfazed by criminals.
Deln is sort of like going to gather the reins of the horses and move them a little bit sort of off the road to the other side, tie the reins to like a branch on a tree on the other side of the road. But yeah, if you would like to approach and you'd like to approach stealthily, give me a stealth check. And if you're giving Minnow some space, you can start moving Minnow. 12.
Why is my, like, whenever, because the whole, like, it automatically rolls with advantage, the other one is so good.
Yeah, it does sort of torment you that way. Nero 14.
12.
Is anyone else going in that immediate sort of front party? Or is it just those two?
Rest is going to hold back.
Me.
Jinglies.
Okay. 10. Okay. So you all are approaching, and it's not that you're approaching noisily or you're moving in cautiously. It's pretty flat ground through here. It's just sort of a grassy plain. It's a little bit hard to move super stealthily. You're at least trying to keep yourself from being right in view of any windows or the doorway, and you're doing an okay job, you think.
Can I just kind of see what I see if I notice like anything besides the light as different or amiss from what I should expect?
Sort of as you're approaching, you mean? Sure, give me a perception check then. It is
Natural 20. Yay.
Nice.
Yeah, with that nat 20, which became a 26 as well for perception. You're moving forward, and you all actually, could everyone verify that you have control of your tokens? Because sometimes roll 20 is like, haha, we changed it, so no, the people can't control their own tokens anymore. Cool, I see people moving across the fields. As you're approaching, and you're sort of looking and you're kind of trying to focus on keeping out of the way, you do notice a couple of things. I didn't enforce line of sight just because it makes the maps go slower, but along this back wall here, you can see a little bit of like, it looks like maybe an axle or a sort of pull handle for a cart sticking out. And that sort of catches your attention and reinforces that you think that there might be a drop going on or a meeting or something, and that would explain the light. It would explain why there would be a cart here. But as you're getting closer with that crit, you realize there's something else that's weird. The walls of the building look less decrepit than you're used to.
I would kind of halt the group and pull us to somewhere with cover, maybe behind one of these trees.
Yeah, you can get to that tree off to your left.
Relay this information.
I feel that when you say this, that Nero would use the Fearbolg magic, or to cast Detect Magic.
Sure thing.
Still forgot to add Detect Magic in as a thing, but, you know, I can do that.
I'm just trying to remember because I think it has a range of 30 feet. Yes.
Yeah,
For the duration, you sense the presence of
Okay.
magic within 30 feet of you if you sense magic in this way.
Nero would know that. Rachel doesn't, because, you know, reasons. So I would wait, I think, until I got closer.
Okay, so you have this discussion, and then, yeah, once you're around in that range, sort of right before that big mud patch, you'd be in range to be able to start sensing the building itself. But yeah, what would you like to do? Also, actually, sorry, I will add one more thing with that 26 crit for perception. While you don't necessarily feel great about how stealthy you all are being, Minnow, you do not sense anything that suggests someone having noticed you. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, it does. I don't know if anyone's even here. It kind of seems like, well, we can't say yet, but let's get closer and just, like I said, let's go cautiously. And
yeah, so once I get within 30 feet, if we're going to be moving forward, then I would do that.
Sure. Yeah, so you pull forward. The door is there in the middle. There's no windows actually on the front. They're all on the side and in the back. And yeah, as you get to within 30, you activate Fearbolg magic, using it for detect magic, and you kind of are looking out at the building. The building and the area immediately around it is shimmering with magic.
What kind?
So yeah, then you focus and you get the school. There is no school of magic.
What?
And this is not, you cannot tell what school of magic it is. It does not have a school of magic.
Okay, I'm going to say stop. There is magic shimmering everywhere. But Nero was kind of at a loss for words. Just kind of like, it doesn't, I don't know what it is. It doesn't have a type.
it's not like an illusion, like someone has...
It's not illusory magic. It's not any form of magic that I've ever seen.
Did we encounter something like this down in the crypts, or
Like a similar type of magic?
yeah?
I don't think Nero casts detect magic down there.
Yeah, I cast it sometime, but I can't.
You cast it
remember
up
if I
above
did
on the
it.
surface when you had Garrig/Riven.
Maybe we could consult with, what's his name? Dellen. Seems he spent a lot of time researching down there. If maybe he encountered something that was similar, not of a particular school.
So you're all sort of saying that, as you're sort of talking, Minnow, you're keeping a cautious eye on the building, and you kind of blink for a second. The walls are more decrepit than you've ever seen them.
Is anyone else seeing that? Do you see that the walls look different now, or is it just me?
Looks like a building to me.
Okay, but
Do we
compare
notice the
it.
difference?
Compare it to your memory of the same building 3 minutes ago. Is it the same or different?
Anyone who wants to make this comparison, give me a quick perception check.
Okay.
Also, Sam, I love you for that. It's a building. Jesus! Here come the crits, finally. Nero 21 for perception, Dent with a 2 for perception, Ressa with a 24, which is a crit hit for perception.
It's a building.
I was gonna say, Dent, it's a building. It's a motherfucking building. You don't know what these people are on about. Nero, yeah, it's weird. You couldn't, even now, you can't put your finger on what exactly is different, but it does feel like more beaten down than it was just a minute ago when you were looking at it. I would also say that you don't have the same sense of what it normally looks like that Minnow does. But like, yeah, this feels different. Ressa, you know exactly the things that have changed because you're a crafts person. You're like, yeah, no, that's collapsing, that's sort of failing, that this is, and you actually with that, you would estimate that this feels like this building just aged like 150 plus years.
Did the magic shimmer or change at all in any way noticeable when this happened?
Yeah, actually it did. You have a hard time seeing it, but sort of in your perception you're like, oh, yeah, if I tie this back, there was this sort of like pulse briefly, or like just almost a pulse could almost be too strong sounding, just sort of a ripple through it.
But still no discernible school.
No.
Okay.
I
would pass that information on, at least to Minnow. Sorry.
Yeah, I have just a question based on everyone else's perception rolls and not my own. Would they have noticed this changing as they were walking toward the house? Does it seem to be like a proximity-based thing?
Hard to say because your point of reference is Minnow, who kind of noticed it, but noticed it at two different states.
Do you say that out loud, or you don't?
No. I was merely asking for clarification on the perception roll, like if that's something you would have seen.
But I pass along to you about the ripple that I notice in the magic that I can't identify.
And the cart behind that, I noticed like the handle of it on that. Does that look the same, or does that also look like it aged 20 years?
There does not appear to be a cart handle there anymore.
No. Okay, I'm just gonna watch the building for another couple minutes. Does it change age again?
So you're just going to sort of stop and hold position and watch. Yeah. Yeah. Give me another perception roll now, because I kind of let you carry that crit, but let's make sure.
Not natural 20.
An unnatural 20. Very good. We love those here. Yeah, as you're sitting and watching and you're just sort of stopped, looking at things, it's almost, I'm trying to think if I say this. You can't remember blinking, but you have to have, because suddenly as you look at it, like the walls are legitimately taller than they were. Like there's more of a ceiling. And again, you don't remember blinking, but now it's almost just rubble. And this just keeps happening.
You see it, right, Dent? You see that it's rubble?
Everyone can now see this, including Dent. We will free you from the hell of a 2 perception roll. And Nero, you definitely see every time this is happening. It's interesting, Nero. You almost can tell when it's happening better than even Minnow can, who's like watching really intently. But every time it happens, Minnow's just like, shit, it's different again. And you're almost like, it just rippled again.
Do we... maybe we should ask Dellen to help?
Maybe we should send something inside to see if it's affected.
At this point, Dellen is going to have, as you've been just standing in this glade, looking at this building, occasionally going, ah! Ah! He's like, oh, okay. I know you're the professionals, but what's going on?
I think Dent is just going to keep walking towards the house. He wants to peer in through a window. He's not really fazed by the presence of magic because he is magic.
I think there are no windows.
They're along the sides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like one.
I think I would probably follow Dent to see what he sees as well.
Yeah,
but also
I would
kind
want
of
to look and see if there's magic detectable inside as well. If we're going to look
tell
at windows.
Dellen as we walk kind of what we're noticing.
And I would like to cast Detect Traps.
Cool. Go ahead and roll that for me.
Am I rolling perception?
You certainly can, yeah. 120 feet, any trap within range that is within line of sight. Blah, 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 blah. A natural 2019. Outstanding.
Sure is. It's because I don't have eyes, you know.
Ketch is also now bringing up into sort of like up by probably Ressa and Dellen. All right, let's resolve Ressa's just because it was instantaneous, so it didn't require the process of looking. You don't feel any traps around.
Okay. And for purposes of line of sight, if I'm get around and look in the windows, it doesn't carry.
It's an instantaneous spell, so you could say that you held it until then if you want to. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you don't see anything. You can see it. It's difficult to see the entirety of the inside of the building, but you can see most of it, and you're not seeing anything. Catch, as you kind of get up here, Dellen is now furiously scribbling notes, staring wide-eyed at the building. And Dent, with that natural 19. You peer inside, and behind you, you sort of hear Nero pulse. And as you're watching it and you're entirely focused on this, you see the ruined floor with collapsed stone, broken down benches, etc. You still can't see the moment, but you're almost convinced there isn't a moment. The benches are pristine. The floor is beautiful. It is covered in luxurious rugs. There is beautiful tile work leading up. There are candles flickering on an altar, and seated at each of these benches and standing at the altar are flickering gray shapes.
So there isn't a moment, but it immediately transitions into this other scene.
Yes.
Guys, I'm seeing like quasi-spectral people inside. Can't really tell what they're doing, but there's like an altar, and it looks really pretty.
Can I push forward to look through the window with my detect magic still up?
Yeah.
I'm guessing you want a perception check, or?
Give me a perception check generally just for what you see. I am certainly going to rule that detect magic is in play. 19. You see these figures as well. You see the change, though you don't see the change. You just, one moment was like this, the next it's like this other way. And as you're pushing forward, you're almost inside now this bubble of magic. It extends a little bit past the walls, and as you're over here, you can also see that it extends to the graveyard, which is what's directly north of you all. And as you look at that, there are suddenly fewer gravestones in it than there were a second ago.
So this thing is cycling through different moments in time? Is that what we're kind of seeing here?
Nero wants to try something.
Galway wants Nero to try something.
I just want to see if I can affect what is happening inside the building from where I am. So I'm gonna.
I volunteer the services of Finch, my
I'm not
familiar.
gonna go in.
Yeah, but Finch
first.
can.
Oh no, but I want to try something from outside first.
Okay.
And then I think that's a great idea. So I wanted to utilize my elemental attunement, specifically instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, torch, or a small campfire. So you said there were flickering candles, and I just wanted to see if, like, because there's this weird time thing and all this stuff is going on, I wanted to see if I was even able to snuff out the candles inside the time bubble.
Yeah, you reach out and nothing seems to happen.
Do I feel anything, or it just doesn't happen? Like, there's no, is there like a blockage, or?
Give me an Arcana check. Give me an Arcana check or a Wisdom check. Just a straight Wisdom roll, your preference.
Yeah, Wisdom.
Spoken like a true monk. 20. 20 not nat. There is nothing for your elemental attunement to affect.
So I'm going to share that. I'm going to say, sorry, I know I talk really slowly, but I have to. I tried to snuff out the candles inside there, but they're not really there. The fire doesn't really exist for me to snuff it out. I don't know that any of this is real, or at least there.
Den, after hearing this, he like bends over and picks up a rock. But before I cast it, Galway, are any of like the window panes broken?
Funny you should say. They were all pristine as you were sort of peering in at these shadowy figures. There are just no window panes now. The inside is entirely broken down. There are no rugs, no shadowy figures.
Perfect. So after picking up the rock, I turn to the group. Hey, what if I like chucked this inside while the window was still non-existent? Huh? What do we think about that?
Sure, do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Yeah, give me one more perception check, then.
Guidance.
Nice.
You're better at shit.
So guidance gives me proficiency.
Guidance allows you to add
it.
D4, yeah, to the roll.
Nice. Okay, cool.
$10, and you can add a D4. 12. Very good. So, as you're chucking the rock, you're taking in what's inside, and you're seeing, like, okay, it's decrepit again. Actually, out the angle, you can see out the window, there's a broken down cart in the back. And you also see in the northwest corner a cooking fire with the skeleton of a horse. And as you throw the rock in, you all hear a bellowing.
Like an animal?
Is something wrong with my herring, or did something just make a bellow?
Something definitely bellowed. Oh, God. Back up,
And now,
back up.
smashing through the frame of the wall, you will see a hulking figure, greenish skin, sort of smash its way all the way through the wall, and just...
When it smashes the wall, do the flickering stop? Or does the building keep cycling through time loops?
Hard to say.
Do I see a magical aura around giant creature?
You do not.
Galway's like, here's this big fight coming up, and we're like, wait. First, though.
No, honestly, I love that because I'd rather you're paying attention to that. The things that try to kill you aren't nearly as fun usually. No. It's a good question. I would say this, Minnow, because you've been paying really close attention to this. It hasn't flickered, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because it takes some time between these sort of pulses. And Nero would have also mentioned that there's definitely some time spacing. It doesn't feel like it's super regular or anything, but it did not seem to have an effect when the troll smashed the wall.
So Nero would definitely react by saying hello. Like, hello, friend. Whoa, let's calm down.
I like that you're just like, whoa, let's calm down. All right, Nero, give me an insight check.
Guidance.
Thank you. Wait, can you guide insight?
You can guide everything, but I'm not quite sure you have the knowledge that Nero is about to make an insight check here.
Got it.
Like Dent looking like being like, I'm up here through this window, or any of those. That was sort of close enough. Like, actually, you probably gave it to him because he was about to hork a rock through the window, regardless of the perception. But this one is probably a little quick.
I mean, I guess you probably would know that I would try to talk to the monsters first before we fight them.
But I'm not sure that would be a guidance situation so much as a, like, holy armor situation when you're talking to that.
True.
Okay, 11 insight. You are a very, kind creature, and you are also giant-kin yourself. This troll is out of its goddamn mind. Its eyes are almost unperceivingly wide. It seems like it is panicked. It seems like it is very angry. Even you, who always wants to talk to things, are pretty sure this thing isn't even necessarily capable of talking right now. And that's not a knock on it's a troll. That's a knock on just sort of the state it seems to be in. And I would like it if we rolled some initiative.
So we have to click on our tokens first and then click on initiative?
Yes, click on your token, then click on initiative. It's a weird system.
Oh, that's a natural 20 for a 24.
Ooh, I got 22. Oh, Ressa. Oh, catch.
Oh, no.
I don't know what you're all owing about. That just means we go last.
Yeah, I guess that's good.
You're diving into the fight. I'm hanging back going, yep, nope, not going to make that mistake.
All right, so we've got Ressa, Nero at a 22. Dent at a 10. Something weird happened with the initiative tracker. On just the DM screen, my Roll20 has been really temperamental today, so sorry guys. I have like 4 versions of each of your rolls, so I'm like trying to erase the correct or the incorrect ones.
How do you get 4 versions?
I have no idea. It's very disquieting to look at, and I'm like, I'm not going to have any concept of where you guys are. And then my sweet little troll boy needs a roll.
Sweet little troll boy. Does he have a name?
Wow. Okay. He also did not so great.
Good.
The way Andy and I handle critical successes or fumbles in initiative is that if it's a critical success, you basically get to take the equivalent of a surprise round. There are no surprise rounds. I know surprise is a condition, blah, blah, blah. Don't yell at me about the 5e rulebook. That was directed at the chat, not you guys. But you get to basically go on a round and then you'll go again. Fumbling is not so great. So yeah, Minnow, what would you like to do?
I guess on my extra round, I will take a help action from my familiar and shoot it with sneak attack.
Really?
Okay, so I get to roll advantage with the help action, right? And then...
Yep. Because we have...
Okay.
We currently have Finch goes directly before you.
Okay, perfect. So I will shoot.
Kept it from... Well, when it didn't keep it from being a fumble. The first one was the 24. 24 hits?
Yeah. 24, okay. And then I will do the thing. I get a 2d6 sneak attack.
Yes.
So that's, 15 altogether damage from that shot?
Very nice. The arrow sort of slams through its shoulder. And Nero, you're still pretty focused on it. Disquietingly, it barely even reacts to that.
Cool, great.
Is it my turn again?
And now it is your turn again.
I can't take Finch help again, can I? Because technically I rolled the nat 20. Does Finch get to act before my turn again?
No, I guess technically speaking, Finch should only have acted before this turn. But
yeah.
we'll roll
So
that
this
into the
time I
first
just
one, so we'll
won't
just
take
pass
the-
it, so it's the same
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't get advantage on this roll, which means I don't get sneak attack.
You would, because you have an ally in engagement range with it.
Ah, okay, cool. Then I'll take it.
Wah,
That's an 8
wah.
total.
That's a 7 and a fumble.
No, because I have advantage, don't I? Oh, no, I don't have advantage.
No. Roll a d20 for me, would you?
Dun, 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 dun.
That is a 9.
Okay. You fire, and you're firing, or you're pulling from your short bow. As you sort of go to knock this arrow, and you're just trying to hurry because there's been a troll from nowhere. You more or less knock your quiver of arrows over so that the arrows spill out onto the ground. It'll be an action, and you could gather all of them. Or as a bonus action, I would rule you could like pick up one of them and knock it, but you just sort of have a pile of ammo sitting around your feet now, and you miss.
Okay. I'm going to back up also with my movement.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and get back up. Oh, you wish to? Yes, you've got a little bit of cover from the tree. And anything else?
Nope, all done.
Nero.
Me. Okay,
It you.
so I now have 50 feet of movement every turn.
Jesus, you're a speedy furbolg.
Yes, great. So I would like to move. Do you count diagonal movements as like, would this just be 5 feet?
Yes.
Or, okay. So I'm going to move 5 feet
Yes.
to hit him with my quarterstaff.
Okie doke. An 11 does not hit.
Okay, well, I'm going to then use martial attack or martial arts.
Whatever it is, yeah. The thing that lets you
You know.
try to punch him on your
Yeah,
bonus
that.
action.
Also doesn't hit.
A 7 does also not hit, yeah. Does
so
also
then,
not hit.
because our Fearbulg is not a beefy boy, I have 19 hit points. I am going to use my cool new feat to move without an attack of opportunity. And I'm going to move 45 feet back.
Monk fucks all the way
Maybe
off.
I don't need to do 45 feet. Then it'll be harder for the next one. I need to think about splitting the difference, right? So I can run back and forth each time.
Yeah.
So I'll move 25 feet back.
I like that you're just like, and I fuck off to the road. I'm just like, bye guys. You just see Nero, I'm heading out now.
Right. See ya.
But like real fast, like
Yeah. Like one hit could fucking kill me, possibly.
No.
So-
I know. I am not in any way laughing at the strategy of this. It's brilliant. I just like the image of, bye. We out.
Dent looks over. Are we running away?
No. I'm gonna hide in a tree.
I mean, that
Or
was
in
also
this bushy area.
yeah. That was arguably my favorite part of in the Waterdeep Dragon Heist, where I played a monk who was a kobold who was 2 feet tall, and the fact that my walking speed was 45 feet. I'm just like, you were watching this little tiny like cat-sized creature just fucking power walk past all of you. It's like, Dent.
Yeah, so I would like to use some of my movement to get
I can't hear you.
we lost your audio.
20 feet of my movement to get there.
Okay.
And then the rest of my movement to get on this side of him.
Okay.
So that way, if someone decides to run up towards us, we get to pinch them. And Dent is going to go ahead and use his great sword.
Give me a roll. 17 hits.
And here's the damage. I just click it again, right? Or no, I have
You
to
click the name.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would make way more sense if you just clicked it again, honestly. Jesus, right. Great sword. And strong boy. 14 damage.
And Dent's not fucking around today. Not with this. It's been a while. He's feeling on the edge since he's been in some combat, and he's going to go ahead and use action surge. So I will go ahead and
take another action.
Return back with the blade and do another quick slashy slash.
Very nice.
So here we go.
15 hits. Right. Great swords. Damn, it's been a while since I played a strength-based fighter. So you bring the sword down and sort of expertly step back, use the weight, pivot around, slash again, and just another bright welt and sort of bleeding slash appears across this thing's skin. It's like, sort of holding up its arms towards you now. Anything else?
I think I'm just gonna. Well, I don't have like another action, so I'm probably just gonna hang tight and hopefully not die.
Isn't that always the way of D&D? Let me just change one thing. Da-da-da. Because for some reason, by default, it's like, no, you don't get to auto-roll damage on NPC attacks. I'm like, but I'd like to.
It's not going to hit, so it's not going to be a problem.
So, what is Finch's AC?
Good question. Let me check. In combat, it rolls its own initiative, acts on its own turn, can attack. I guess it just has
It'll be the AC of the animal.
of the animal. Okay. Yeah. Well, then let me look it up.
Hawk, AC 13, hit points 1. So Minnow, you see this creature just sort of like holding up its arms as Dent has carved these two massive slices out of its chest, trying to defend itself. And you see Finch flapping up at its shoulder.
Point of order, familiars, you do roll a d4 when you summon them for their HP, not just what they're
okay.
Right? Don't you? I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
I thought when you summoned them, you get to roll a d4 and that's their HP, because it's like they're fey creatures, not technically.
No.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Let me just check. Find familiar.
I don't see it in the spell.
No, they
Maybe
just
it's just a critical role thing.
Maybe it
they
is.
just
Yeah.
have their HP, because that's one of the reasons.
Sucks.
That's one of the reasons why Warlock's Pact of the Chain is more powerful, because it buffs their HP and they're from tougher creatures.
New point of order, Finch was helping me by being an emotional support animal and was not engaged in combat.
Unfortunately, you had a help action.
Oh, okay.
So you're gonna see this Finch flapping up. You can resummon him, and you're gonna see the troll just sort of go, oh,
and misses.
No, with a 13 hitting for 6 piercing damage, as the troll just bites Finch.
Yeah, and then Finch just poofs out of existence and the troll is confused.
The troll seems even more upset, especially to Nero. The troll is having an even worse day. It has just been slashed a lot. It just bit something and it didn't turn into tasty food. It is very upset, and it is going to take out that upset on you, Dent.
Oh boy.
It's going to swing. Okay, I'm not going to ask it this way because I'm not going to ask it the usual way because it's a shitty question at this level. A 22 hits you, right?
Yes, it does.
See, I didn't ask, does a 22 hit you? I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have something going on that I'd forgotten about. So it's going to bring one giant arm down on you. Take 7 damage.
Hey, at least Finch absorbed the bite attack for you.
This one is a genuine question. Does a 17 hit you?
Me?
Yes.
My armor class should be 17, but right now my thing says 12.
Yeah, I'm not worrying about it. But if it is 17, it still hits you. So it's gonna.
Yes.
It took a page from your book, and will sort of use the momentum of its first swing to bring its other arm over and hit you again for 8 more slashing.
The fastball gets 3 attacks.
It's a fucking troll.
Yeah, I know. I'm just letting you know that I hate it.
Okay, like braid his hair and shave his chest hair. I mean, that's the way Rachel deals with these issues. And I did appreciate that you tried to be his friend.
I tried.
Catch. You just heard a wall explode, lots of people shout, and probably hear Minnow go, oh no.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why does nobody ever listen to Catch? Catch knows what he's talking about. Catch knows what he's talking about. Why don't you guys ever listen to me? We should have stayed on the road. We should have kept going. And now I got to go shoot this troll in his damn ass.
Love it.
So then I am going to come over.
Still furiously taking notes, but he's running away.
Is that 35, 10? I think that's 30. Okay, and then...
Yes, you just moved 30.
Okay. And yeah, Sam, sorry, my video is wonky, so I shut it off.
Oh, you're good.
And then I will cast...
Right.
So that I can come up here.
You'd even get one more in if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll do that one. Okay, and then When you hit a creature. Okay. When you hit a creature. Okay, do I do that before I decide that I want to shoot with my longbow?
When you hit. So you get to see if you hit or not.
Okay.
Battlemaster fighters are nice for that because they let you basically pick the ones that you hit.
Okay, sweet. So I would like to hit with my longbow.
Oh. The 12 will not
figures.
hit.
Well, shit. Okay, so it did not hit, so that distracting strike does not happen, is that right?
Yeah, and you didn't expend it. You haven't wasted anything.
Okay. Then I guess that's it. I can't hit with an arrow, and now I'm stuck.
Ressa.
Okay, so in the morning, I would have done Blessing of the Forge on my Warhammer.
Yep. Just as generally, I'm going to assume that that's what you've blessed, unless you tell me otherwise.
Okay, good. Then I will move up here next to it.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, as a bonus action, hit or cast Searing Smite, and then hit him two-handed blow with the Warhammer.
Nice.
Oops, it wasn't coming up when I clicked Searing Smite.
Yeah, Roll20 has decided it hates you and I tonight, which is at least a fun break for Chris.
Okay, well, let's try this a third time. Click. No.
Let me see if I can bring it up for you.
I figured I had to click it, but...
Yeah, that is... Casting it at first level?
Yeah.
Okay, Roll20.
Now I got it.
Why are you going to ask me the question if you're not actually going to put it in chat then? It was like, what level do you want them to cast it at? And I'm like, okay, there we go. So it'll be 5 extra damage when you hit with it.
Okay,
Well,
and
if you hit with
then...
it.
So, and then in my attacks, I see Enhanced Warhammer.
Yeah.
But it's got a 1d8 plus 1. If it's a two-handed, should it be a 1d10 plus
It
1?
rolls both damage types. It's just hidden.
got it.
I know. I you might have seen somewhere earlier in the chat, there's just a bunch of your attack rolls, because I'm like, okay, does this work right? Like, show me a crit. Do you actually do this right?
And I remember you said that, but then I promptly forgot.
14 will not hit.
Oh, bummer. Well, now, do I get advantage because Dent is flanking?
No, I do not play with the flanking variant.
Ah, okay.
I find that and this is more of a goat's eye view thing. I find there are so many spells and class abilities that focus really hard on trying to generate advantage. That I find it a little unfortunate that it's relatively easy in most combats to actually trigger flanking.
Okay, that's fair.
But I believe you keep burning smite until the next time you hit.
Yes.
Right? It's a concentration spell.
Nice.
Cool. Finch the bird doesn't have a turn.
Minnow?
One thing. Nero, you see a pulse of magic. And the church is now, or the building, which did seem like it might have been a church, is now there's a window again. You can almost hear murmurs of sound from inside, and there is no troll.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if there was a reason that I was missing a troll on my screen suddenly.
The troll has disappeared. You are sans troll.
Son of a fuck. So I noticed a ripple, and like it seems to be going through the cycle again where the building changed?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to share that information.
Yep.
That
I mean, we all were kind of focused on the troll, right?
noticed that the troll is gone, but also the weird time magic is happening again on the building. Just thought I would point it out. We all noticed the troll is gone, right?
That we did.
Yep.
Did
What?
dense damage magically happen to disappear too?
You're cute. No.
Nice try, Sam. Nice try.
I admire the play, but no.
Collect my arrows.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do that before I retreated.
Yeah. You can do that. We'll kind of keep a rough turn order. But
Okay.
it is your turn.
I will collect my arrows and then use my bonus action dash to get to the window and look inside. Do I get free perception, or is that
absolutely.
an action? Okay.
No. I'll give you that. I mean, you haven't done much this turn, so yeah, I feel
Well,
good
you said it was
about
an action to pick up my
Guidance.
arrows.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
we're
know.
roughly in turn order.
I
So
forgot.
Get a nat 20 though.
you
so
did also
it's
get a
okay.
nat 20. So
That's my
God,
third one
you are
tonight.
rocking rolls tonight. A 26. You look inside. Again, the floor is beautiful. There's carpets being laid out. And as you're peering in with that crit combined with it being a 26, you're looking in and you can see a number of figures inside, shadowy gray, and generally smaller in stature. Maybe dwarves, maybe halflings, maybe gnomes. It's a little hard to tell. Certainly some more medium-sized creatures mixed in as well. The building is beautiful. It has never looked like this in your lifetime. This has always been a rundown, abandoned building. And you can almost hear a little bit of what certainly sounds to you like a religious service or someone giving a speech. But this is entirely disquieting. And as you kind of pull back from that, you can see flickering and ethereal and almost translucently gray, the stone that Dent threw sitting on the floor. And then you hear the sound of smashing glass very faintly, and you see a bunch of the shades duck back from the window where you are, and looking at this flickering ethereal stone on.
Hello? I'm gonna shout in and see if they react.
Doesn't seem to be anything. Anything else this turn?
No. I guess if it counts as kind of like more free action-ish, then convey some of this information in my 6 seconds to the others.
You can sort of be like, there's something going on.
So I'm
Nero?
guessing the light doesn't look anything like what's going on inside of me, right?
The lights. Oh, like the candles and things inside? No, they more seem like a very ghostly, pale, translucent, just candle or torchlight.
Gotcha.
Nero, anything you'd like to do?
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop hanging out in bushes. And I'm gonna try and run over here as well and look in.
I like that you're really localizing the Fortnite strategies as well. Crouch in the bush. Be safe.
You know, yeah, I've learned. Do I see anything with with my magic eyes.
Your magic cowman eyes.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to make you roll for this. It's about the same as before. Everything in this area is enshrouded in magic. Everything is kind of misty. It glows a little bit for you.
Can I try and use elemental attunement to shape the mist and see if I can move it aside? Or is it not like that kind of misty?
Not quite that kind of misty. I will spare you using an action or anything on that. No, it doesn't feel like that. This is more just a mist over your eyes than anything. Thank you for the sub, Madam Gorgonzola.
I feel like since all this shit seemed to start with Dent throwing a rock, that I would pick up a rock and try and throw it in as well. Oh, I would have to break a window though, wouldn't I?
Yes.
I don't give a fuck. This is a weird time building. Nero is very much like, this building isn't real. I mean, he already couldn't affect the candles inside, so in his mind, he's like, it's all just fake time nonsense, and he's gonna pick up a rock and throw it through a window.
Is Nero a solipsist?
You hear a smash, and the rock skitters into the room, but none of the figures inside seem to react. Anything?
So I'm wondering if maybe the troll will come back when it recycles back to that time, and maybe we should just be ready for it? Because it seems to be cycling through time of being together and then not, and then now it's back to together.
Are we sure that it's cycling through time, or is it skipping through time?
Well, my reasoning is that it was looking pretty when we first got here, and then it was rubble, and now it's looking even prettier. So I'm wondering if it's slowly going in a circle, because it was gradually becoming more and more decrepit until it was rubble, and then there was a trollman, and then now it's going back to pretty. And I'm wondering, maybe we should just see.
Yeah, I mean, the question is it going to particular points in time, rotating among like this moment, that moment, that moment, happening in order, and then it goes back and starts the order again? Or if it could still be cycling like you're talking about, Nero, but it could be doing like, you know, this moment, and then the next time it comes back to roughly that time, it's like 3 years later, but it's roughly that time of its life cycle, right? In which case we're not going to see the troll again.
That's what I was getting at, but Dent would not have been able to articulate it like
Nero
that.
just kind of looks at you and just kind of nods, like, sure.
So I'm gonna anything else for your turn, Nero? Because then I'm gonna pass it to Dent.
Nah, I'm good.
I am gonna give you one last reward for that crit, Minnow.
Excellent.
Amidst the crashing of the glass, you heard another noise from when Nero threw the rock. It was the clicking sound of Nero's rock hitting where Dent's rock landed.
So before that happened, I heard it happen.
Dent, more rocks? Are we going to a rock-based puzzle solution strategy?
Can I just say that I like that you turned on push to talk to shrug at Elise? Like,
I thought about whether I was going to say anything, and then I'm like, nah, shrug. It's just shrug. It's just shrug.
I think Dent has exhausted, like, the utility of rocks, and he's probably gonna just start, like, looking around. I don't think he thinks that the troll is gonna come back in the same place, like, maybe at the exact same place in the house, or in the building, I should say. I think Dent's gonna, like, maybe, if the windows windows are still there, he's going to break through the window. If the windows are not still there, then he's going to just jump inside.
Windows are still there.
But what if you're inside when time changes, and then that's what happened to the troll, and then now he's stuck in that time, and when it changes again, you'll be gone, and then you'll go wide-eyed crazy like the troll did.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Minnow is so there. She's ready to go in. She's ready.
Yeah, but that's not Dent.
I know it's not Nero either, but I just thought of it, and it came out in a rush.
So Dent is going to attempt to do that. If you try to pull him out, that's your volition there. But Dent's motives are to go inside.
Are pure and beautiful and inside this building.
I think Ressa would grab him as he started to step in and say, hang on. If we go in, we should all go in together.
If we die, we all die together.
Rough turn order. So you're not in position to grab him. I will say you could say to him. I'll give you as a reaction. Okay. You could say that.
I am though, right? I
yes,
can
you
try
are.
And grab his arm. Because Nero is uncomfortable with the fact that he cannot identify the school of magic and with the fact that the troll disappeared.
Sure. So
sorry, something really loud just slammed in my house and I don't know what it was.
So I guess I go up and I smash the window and then start making my way in. Would she have to roll a strength contest against me?
Not my strength, but
it kind of depends. Are you going to resist, or is the combination of Ressa saying, "Hey, hold on a minute," and Nero kind of getting an arm on your shoulder and pulling you back enough to make you just stop?
For what it's worth, to weigh into your calculations, Minnow is like, "Do it!"
Well, I think because of turn order, I would have smashed through the window regardless.
Yes. I will absolutely say that the you smashing the window was not something that they really saw coming or could have stopped. But the process of you being like, okay, going in now, is something that they certainly could have reacted to.
I think having Nero grab my shoulder or wherever Nero grabbed, and Ressa shouting at me probably gave me some pause.
Plus, even though I'm not strong, Firbolgs have powerful builds, and I can drag things as though I were a size larger, so I could be strong and shit. I don't know if that counts for people, but
it doesn't actually play into grapple calculations. But you would certainly know you're being held back, and Ressa yelled at you.
But we would be able to see if when the time circles back, if the window's still damaged, so then we would know, if time is moving forward within those specific points in this apparent circle, or if it's going back to the beginning.
We should wait a little while to see if the troll comes back.
We could send a horse in.
Back if it's been bloody or not.
Jesus Christ.
When it
we thought Galway was a horse murderer, but I guess it's Heather.
When it reappears,
maybe that's why there's a horse in the corner.
If it reappears, Minnow is in position to take force damage from being in the same spot as it will occupy. Just saying.
You're fine. I'd rather you take force damage than Dent disappear into time fucky.
If Minnow gets another turn before the troll reappears, it's not gonna matter.
When the troll reappears, is it gonna be saying "Oh yeah"?
I was thinking about that too.
You're both monsters.
The troll's name is Kool-Aid Man.
You are allowed to.
Yes! Canon, everyone, the troll's name is Kool-Aid Man.
Finally, I'm on the other side of this.
Lena has to say it and lick it first for it to be canon, so.
Lena, you need
What's
to lick
been
the
happening
troll.
in chat while I've been running a game? What shit is going on in my life?
Okay, sorry, keep going.
Catch, it's your turn.
Catch is obviously nowhere near the rest of these nutbags who are wanting to go into this magical building where a troll just fucking vanished. And so, Catch, I'm standing back there, kind of looking from side to side. You guys are going in there, right? I mean, the troll's gone. We can go. Our horses are right there. They're right over there. I mean, look, there's Dylan. Hey, Dylan, how you doing? You ready to go? I'm ready to go. I think
this is fascinating.
Let's not go in the building.
mechanically, would you like to ready any actions, take any actions?
If it looks like the rest of the crew is not wanting to walk away from the building, then yes, I will ready my longbow since I have that still out.
Presumably for if like the troll reappears, not to shoot one of them. But I leave it up to you.
A deterrent arrow?
Yeah. Very good. And Ressa, anything for you then?
I actually think I will suggest sending a horse in.
Interesting. Okay. I will
We can see what happens.
So, yeah, you can make that suggestion. Donald's like, oh, that's interesting. And he's actually gonna. He looks like he's moving to go grab one of the horses. Though he sort of already took his turn. Cool.
Nobody else is gonna object to sending a horse in?
I mean, I just kind of want to go in. If only I still had Finch, it would make this much easier. If we want to take an hour for me to cast Find Familiar so that
we can see if the troll comes back while you're doing it.
The benefit being that I can look through Finch's eyes and see what Finch sees as Finch goes in, versus a horse we just have to,
force in through a window.
Trust.
Where's a door?
Does Finch, would it react to him the same as like he's alive? I don't know quite how to.
It's he's a fey creature.
So as you sort of begin and wrap around almost to begin this again, Nero, you see the magic pulse again. You can sort of have enough to be like, happening again. And in a space a little bit away, the building is now extremely decrepit again. The troll is lying on the ground, dead, just splayed out, and yeah, we can drop that.
Is it freshly dead, or is it like
fresh?
Okay.
Do I notice any weird magic shit on the troll, or around him, or anything?
Also, do we notice if the troll has wounds from our fight?
There's the question. You see, as you sort of approach him, and I'm going to say we'll drop out a turn order. As you approach him, you sort of roll him over, and you see like a pair of long horizontal slashes that look like where Dent cut into him with the great sword, and you see an arrow sticking out of his shoulder, which you recognize, Minnow, is where you shot him. And you see a burn mark in the shape of the finely wrought hammer that Ressa is carrying, which she did not hit with. You see longbow arrows of the distinctive fletching that Ketch uses. You see scratch marks from the talons of a bird on his face. You see welts and bruises, particularly across like his face and the bridge of his nose, as if a staff followed by a very large fist had slammed into it. And this is an entirely dead troll that you all apparently beat the hell out of.
Well, I think we won, but I don't think we've won yet.
Do we see a small patch of like shaven skin on its chest?
No. But I will say, as you sort of Nero's sort of like, and as you look back, you see the magic sort of rupture and sink back down. And now there's a decrepit building with a pair of stones thrown through, lying on the floor. A destroyed cart.
Only I noticed this?
Yeah, because it's the magic fading, and everyone else is looking at the troll. And you see an abandoned, sort of derelict cart in the back. You see the rubble of a wall where something large like a troll might have gone through. And let's call it there for tonight.
Oh,
son of a bitch.
I was so ready to take my bonus action, disengage, and slip in through that window.
Well, perhaps you can do that next time, except now you've said to everyone that that's what you're going to do, but there's also very little they can do if you take a bonus action
now that
disengage.
the magic is faded, it's not, now we just explore.
I like that
Now that the magic is gone.
Now that the magic is gone.
That's why we're getting a divorce, Heather. I'm sorry.
So I also have to process in my mind that I've got a pair of players, well, one at least character that is being played by a player who's willing to indulge that, and a player whose absolute instincts are like, swirling miasmic magic that seems to be flickering it through time. I'm gonna jump in
I'm gonna jump in there.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you so much, everyone, for playing. I hope that everyone involved had a very good time. I certainly did. If you would like to see more about this, where this goes, what the hell happened to this troll, the horrible things that they did to it, the horrible things that are happening with time, potentially, you can tune in to Helpful Goat Presents Tier Moontree Isle. It'll probably be every other Friday through here. We have some potential one-shots and some sort of special events coming up, so our schedule's a little up in the air, but we'll have updates on that. If you would like more information about any of that, you can follow us on Twitter, where we're at Helpful Goat. You can also join our Discord, which there's a link for in the chat right now, I believe, where we talk about lots of silly things, and D&D, which is not a silly thing, and call Rachel Daddy. I don't know why I'm just throwing that one out there as like a draw to come into the Discord, but it's there.
There you go. Come into the Discord and call me Daddy.
I started this and yet still it affects me.
Alternatively, come into the Discord and call Rachel, which is what I do.
As long as you come.
Wow.
I just like scanning my eyes down. Elisa's wah wah, and then watching Sam and Heather just like, oh God, we're playing with these people.
I tell you what, these daddy jokes are krilling it.
Oh.
Please end this, Galway.
No, you must suffer as if this is Tuesday Inspire.
But he's giving me a headache.
Is he grinding your gills?
If you also enjoyed this, you can check out our archives on YouTube, where we're Helpful Goat Gaming. You can see the links to our podcast below. This one will eventually be appearing in the Helpful Goat Presents podcast feed, which also has more tier campaigns and tier one-shots. So if you want to catch up more on the strange world of tier, where lots of things tend to happen with time, because I like fucking with time in games, you can check those out there. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We hope you appreciated it. From everyone here at Helpful Goat, thank you so much again to the players. We hope you have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. Be well. Love y'all. Good night.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.